Hello, everybody. Welcome along. It's the Benjamin Bloom Football Show. In the words of Steven Gerrard, we go again. The never-ending championship content continues, and we previewed game week number 43 yesterday, and here we are. Well, we're already 3 games into it, but going to be covering Derby County versus Brentford today, which is the 12:30 game, which has plenty of significance for the automatic promotion race and for the race for the playoffs. Before we go any further, obviously anything football related, any content, probably for the next few days is all in the memory and dedicated to Jack Charlton, who has died this morning. Absolute giant of the game. I've done a little video already with my thoughts on Jack, so if you do want to comment on it, there's loads of lovely tributes over there, but I'm sure we're just going to get inundated with messages of basically just love for Jack Charlton. Feels a little bit like when Bobby Robson died, and it was just like, well, everybody loved him, and we're all very, very sad, and we're all football fans. So obviously it goes without saying that we pay our utmost respects and condolences to anyone connected with Jack Charlton. If anybody wants to do tributes or tell stories, please put them in the comments. And obviously on the video I've already made would be even better. But Jack Charlton, in his typical northern humour, would probably say, "Oh, what are you worrying about that for? Let's get on and talk about the football," or something humorous and self-deprecating like that. So we will go on with Jack in our hearts and in our minds and talk about Derby versus Brentford today. Please get your predictions in for this one via the comments. 2 games already yesterday night. Let me get rid of that banner, which is probably the most popular thing I say on this channel. Let me get rid of that banner. Big result for Luton last night. What a performance that was down the bottom of the table. Cat amongst pigeons down there. And Fulham are in form. The winning streak for Fulham continues at the top of the table. So for those people like me who are a neutral, who just want the most troublemaking results to happen, it happened last night. Let's see what impact that had at the top, particularly as pertains to this game, Derby versus Brentford. Fulham closing up the gap to West Brom to 4 points. Remember, Fulham's next game is against West Brom. So if West Brom slip up today or tomorrow, whenever they play, we'll look at the fixtures in a minute, then they could close to within a point with a victory there next week. The Cottagers, Fulham over West Brom. So the gap's closed. So Brentford have temporarily dropped to 4th place, but a victory for them again closes the gap up to 2 points and within 3 points of Leeds. Remember, Brentford are on an absolute tear. 6 wins on the trot already. They're looking for the perfect 10 for promotion, but everybody is winning. I looked at Leeds. 8 wins in 10, even before lockdown. West Brom have now gone on a 3-game winning streak. Fulham are now on a 3-game winning streak. Brentford on a 6-game winning streak. If everyone keeps winning, everything stays the same. We're looking for the slip. Who is going to make it? And will it be Brentford today, or will they pile on the pressure? Let's just have a quick look down the bottom of the table. Although first, we should look from a Derby point of view. They can, with 3-goal victory or more, I don't know what the goals scored looks like, go above Cardiff into 6th place with this opportunity today. It's a very, very hard game, obviously, but the result did go for them last night with Cardiff losing at Fulham. Just have a quick look down the table, down at the bottom of the table, excuse me, and you can see that Luton, big win for them last night. If results go their way across the rest of the weekend, and they will want Charlton, Stoke and Hull all to lose, they've closed the gap up and they're within 1 game. Well done, Nathan Jones. Decent effort from him since coming back. We're going to close in on this game now. I can see all your comments coming in. I will get to them, I promise. Here are today's fixtures. So, from Luton's point of view there at the bottom, they're going to want Reading to do a job at Charlton. Another early kickoff alongside Derby and Brentford, which is the game we are covering. Look at that. Barnsley versus Wigan. Massive game there. Someone needs to win that if they want to stay up. West Brom go to Blackburn. Brentford fans, Leeds fans, Fulham fans are all going to be all over that game. Blackburn did beat Cardiff in midweek. They are having a good week. Hull, Millwall again, down at the bottom. Luton fans, Wigan fans, Barnsley fans are going to want Millwall to win that one. And again, that has implications on the playoff chase. And look at this. There's something on everything, by God. Borough against Bristol City. A Bristol City win puts them back even further into the playoff race. Middlesbrough, can they pull themselves further clear? Neil Warnock, 2 wins out of 4 so far. Forest and Preston. Forest will start looking over their shoulders if they lose that. But Preston will be pushing on to the playoffs. If it goes the other way, a Forest win, we think they're probably out of the top 4 race, but still a lot riding on that. Maybe we're on the beach for the last game there, QPR, Sheffield Wednesday, but Sheffield Wednesday need a bigger cushion with a possible FFP guilty verdict. If that comes, we don't know. Could be a 9-point deduction. At the moment, that would be all right. A 12-point deduction. Wednesday are in trouble. They need more points. Again, as I say every time I say this, I'm not saying they're guilty. We'll just wait for the results of the findings. Let's have a look here today then at Brentford versus Derby. I should somewhere have, but we don't seem to have uploaded. Dear me, we'll just quick look if I can find it. Bear with me 5 seconds. At what Infogol and what Betfair are saying, and there it is. And they're very heavily on Brentford, 54%. The Infogol Boffins with 21% on Derby, and the money from Betfair is going on Brentford, 55%. And you can see those big streaks of form. Tactically, remember, these sides both like to pass the ball. Remember, Brentford are further down that plan than Derby are. Although you would say Philip Cocu not completely doing a different thing than what Frank Lampard did last season, but with very much different players. Remember, no Keogh, no Tamori, no Bryson, no Mount, no Wilson. You know, that playoff team is gone for Derby. So even though they're in a similar footballing style, they're certainly a long way behind Brentford in that development. Let's have a look at the teams. Remember, this is the Infogol projection of how they are going to line up, although it looks pretty accurate to me. Derby in goal, Hamer. Across the back, Max Lowe makes his return. Craig Forsyth had played the last couple of games. I think that balances Derby out better, particularly from an attacking point of view. Lowe, I think, and even Craig Forsyth would probably admit this, can do a bit more going forward and will balance out the excellent Jayden Bogle on the other side. Clark and Evans. Well, remember, Evans has played in midfield and Clark very good on the ball. You can see what Philip Cocu is trying to do. Wayne Rooney is back alongside Max Bird in the deep-lying playmaker position in that double pivot. That was a problem for Derby in the game against West Brom. West Brom pressed high, and the absence of Rooney there, who's playing a bit further up, meant they did not keep the ball as well. The 3 off the front there, look who's back. Tom Lawrence, after his suspension, a very direct player. He'll get it out of his feet and shoot and cross. Some people find him frustrating, but across the season, he will get goals and assists. Louis Sibley, well, he's not suspended because his red card has obviously, the suspension has been overturned, a silly one there late on in that game at West Brom. And Jason Knight, is it? Sorry if I've got his name wrong. Comes in that 3 off the front. A little bit sort of fresh legs there. Chris Martin up the top there. Remember, Martin Waghorn is suspended. Nice looking Derby team. nice bit of balance as well, especially with the two fullbacks. In fact, the entire back half looks pretty solid and strong. The only thing one would say is, however good these Derby youngsters are, they are still youngsters. They are still developing. We cannot expect, I mean, maybe from Bogle, he's been in the season, but look there, Lowe, Bird, Knight, Sibley, all starting. We can't put too much pressure on these players so early in their careers to expect them to just deliver over and over again. They will have off days, and sometimes young players have off days altogether, is my experience. So, but a nice looking Derby team there, and a very much nice looking Brentford team here. Martin in goal there. You will see at right back there, we would normally have Henrik Dalsgaard, but it's Roslev starting in that one. I did see him play away at Luton for Brentford in the flesh. That wasn't Brentford's highest performance of the season or greatest moment. So maybe he can give me a better performance today. Janssen and Pinnock. How well has Pinnock come on? Remember, Janvier in that squad, not getting a look in. Rico Henry down the left back regular position for him there. No Jensen in midfield. Marcondes comes in there. So Norgard will sit. Marcondes and De Silva will rotate there. Look out, as I always say, for long-range left foot shots by Josh De Silva, not Jay De Silva, the mistake I always make. Marcondes, big impact when he came off the bench at Fulham, if you remember, a goal and an assist. And then there they are, the fabled front three there. I'm not going to call them the BMW because it's a bit cringeworthy. But Brian and Buemo, inverted ringer on the right, look out for lots of left foot work. And he seems to be the one out of three of those who can just kind of drift in and finish stuff off. Ollie Watkins has been very good in the whip for the penalty box, scored loads of headers. And obviously the main guy, I think it's 4 goals in his last 2 games, Saeed Benrahma. What a player he is. How much longer will he be at Brentford? So what I'm seeing here is 2 managers who want to play the game in a reasonably similar way. Brentford just seem to be a lot further on their journey than Derby are. And looking at the form, Brentford, 6 straight wins, going for that perfect 10, are in superb form. Derby were in superb form with the 5 wins on the trot. However, it's very much tailed off for Derby over the past 2 games. That draw against Forest and then the defeat at West Brom means they have slipped a little bit. Right, shall we have a look at your comments and at your predictions here? Ollie says 2-1 to Derby. God, there's plenty of them for me to get through. We'll try and read as many of these and get as much balance in the predictions as we can. Chris says, up the bees. Voyou is going for a 2-0 to Brentford. Shout out there to Lee, and shout out to the other Lee as well. And to Ray, indeed. Luke says, Brentford's first wobble after the disheartening results of Leeds and West Brom. That's an interesting theory. It must be infuriating when you keep winning to see the teams above just doing enough to keep you at arm's length. But it's a 46-game season, isn't it? So maybe too big a gap. Lee says, Brian Clough, Jack Charlton and Bobby Robson, 3 of the best managers to ever live. All Northern boys as well, all wonderful English football heroes. MB says, afternoon, Ben. Keep up the great work. Enjoying your nuanced and positive platform. There we go. Rollercoaster week for Leeds fans. 5-0 and then this. Yes, indeed. And Jack says, R.I.P. Jack. Luke says, R.I.P. Jack. Obviously, everyone is behind that. And 2-1 Derby. Martin says, great win for the Hatters yesterday. Fingers crossed for the results to go Luton's way today. Rest in peace to Jack Charlton, obviously, and 2-0 to the Bees. 2-1 Brentford. Jay says, I went 2-2, did I? I can't remember what I predicted. Voyou has got 50 quid on Brentford going undefeated for the rest of the season. Does that include the postseason and the playoffs? Michael says, I'd never say this, but come on, Derby. Yes, Nathan Jones could be in a position to do a lot of damage to Stoke this season, let's just say. Lee says, can't see anything other than a Brentford win today. If Brentford don't get promoted, I can see the team getting gutted for their players and even manager. Brentford is well set up to be able to weather that storm. They've had loads of players go the past few years and replace them quite beautifully, really. Jay says, I've got a bet on Brentford and West Brom, so hopefully I lose my bet. There we go. Ewan, Brentford haven't won in Derby since 1939. Great stat there. Voyu, Fulham can do one, celebrating their temporary third spot. There we go. Jay is in for a draw, 1-1. Michael says 2-0. Derby. Ollie says, come on, Derby, from a Leeds fan. Baggies Forever says, beg you do us a favour, Derby. Azuz, outstanding there. I don't have a drink. Obviously, it'd be wrong to start drinking before 5 p.m. anywhere. Although we've got spaghetti bolognese today, and I'm sure Shaylee's going to put some wine in. But thank you, Azuz. 5 a.m. here. Hoping Rooney can do Leeds a favour. That is commitment. Up at 5 a.m. to watch the rivals play. Well done, Azuz. Let's have a little look more here. Ewan says Rooney hat-trick incoming. Leeds man says, brilliant, on Jack Charlton. Saw him score with a great header against Coventry in the 71-72 on his 600th appearance, with the record number of appearances for a team that is recognised as one of Britain's great. Unbelievable. 773 was it, with 96 goals. And if you look at the Revie era, which was just incredible, Jack Charlton goes all the way through it. I know Norman Hunter. No, does Norman Hunter nearly at the start? But Jack Charlton is just there the whole way. What a player. What a guy as well. Lee asks, when is the outcome for Wednesday? Surely sorted soon. Who knows? Who knows? I wouldn't put the EFL past leaving it right until one game to go. Wonky says, I think Derby have the best young players in the league. Certainly in terms of numbers, I think they do, don't they? Sibley, Knight, Lowe, Bird, Buchanan, plus. Yeah, Rooney is the perfect mentor for those guys, isn't he? He's seen and done everything, and probably made all the mistakes he doesn't want them to make. Think about that guy as well. Literally, since scoring that goal for Everton at age 16, top of the game, Wayne Rooney. Perfect mentor indeed. Let's have a look at some more comments. Jake Snow, with Jon Snow as his picture there. If you need any more motivation, Derby, if you don't win, the possibilities of us denying you playoffs and getting promoted on the same turf. Yes, Leeds, Derby coming up. Is it in midweek or is it at the weekend? Ollie says, how is Sibley playing after he got sent off? That suspension has been rescinded. And Baggies Forever chimes in with that, rescinded. Mike Jones, wasn't he in the clash? Brentford with an easy win today, at least by 2 goals. Derby were awful the other day. West Brom a tighter win. Sibley red card rescinded. Voyu says, I can see Ollie Watkins breaking his dry spell. How long is that dry spell? It can only be 4 or 5 games, can't it? Derby seem to have issues letting men in their box. Yeah, he has impressed all of us, Watkins. Beautiful conversion from winger into central striker. And I think probably got even more headed goals than Mitrovic. Although Mitro did get back on the charts today. So in terms of that golden boot race, which is very important to both guys from the interviews I've seen, Mitro moves 1 goal ahead, having served his suspension here. El Loco for Leeds, hoping for a Derby win. All the Leeds fans are behind Derby today, aren't they? Liner says, I just don't think Derby are a good side at all this season. Surprised if they get anything out of this. However, it is the championship. Get that disclaimer in there, Lana. Beautiful stuff. And Liam says, Brentford just need to drop points. They have been fantastic, haven't they? They're bound to at some point. I keep getting in trouble from Chris, the Brentford fan, for saying they're bound to at some point. But law of averages says, just at some point, you have a bad game or you get some bad luck. Even if you play well, it's possible to get a dodgy red card after 5 minutes or what have you. Mike says, Derby going to have to lift their game today from past few performances. Brentford draw in. Mike has just tweeted me a great Jack Charlton clip as well. Thank you for that, Mike. I have watched it, I promise. Voyou says Pinnock was rated as the second best player in the league since the restart. Best was Ben Rama. He's been brilliant, hasn't he, Ethan Pinnock? There's another one ready for a big sale if needs must. Brentford 2-0, says Martin. Could Brentford do a statement victory like Leeds did the other night? All the Leeds fans were nervous and anxious before the game, indeed, weren't they? And then 5-0. So you never know. Ollie, all these Leeds fans hoping for a favour. Leeds will be fine, guys. Don't worry. Do not worry. Ollie says 2-1. Derby Rico says, come on, you Rams. Don't get Derby's position without being able to pull out a result, mind. Very, very true. Proper championship game. Voyou says 3-0 to the Bees. Baggies Forever says 2-2, which I think is what I said. So Baggies Forever, that means it's just not going to happen. Although I did get both of them right last night in terms of, I said Luton would win and I said Fulham would win, although I suppose the Luton away win's a fair shout, isn't it? 3-2 Brentford, says Rico. Ray, thank you, sir. £5 on the super chat. Thank you to everybody supporting in that manner. I'll just put the ticker up. Support via super chat or subscribing on Patreon. I had 2 new Patreons yesterday as well. And if you are not in a position to be able to donate money, that is not a problem. Just hit the like button or leave a comment. Every little helps with the YouTube algorithms and getting more people to the channel. 3-1 Brentford, says Lee. Ben says 2-1 Brentford. Because Brentford can't win every game 5-0. But if we get 7 points, that doesn't mean anything. Yes, absolutely. Leeds, 7 points. West Brom, 8 points away from promotion. Let's have a little looky. Simon says it's a crying shame no fans are allowed in to watch this exciting running. Yeah, totally. Look at Cardiff slipping up to possibly let Blackburn, Derby, Millwall, Swansea, even down as far as Bristol City in. Look at the top 4. That's brilliant. They're all winning. Look at the bottom. Insane with the possible Wigan deduction. Luton have won. And wasn't it Barnsley, Wigan today? Really, really great running. Absolutely, isn't it? Let's have a look. Oh, did I say 2-2? Luton and... Oh, 2 for 2. There you go. Yes, exactly, Jay. I never get too many of them right. So, do you know what? I thought when I started doing the predictions thing, I'll have a little bet on what I predict. And then I realised after a couple of weeks, I'll run out of money quite soon. There will be a week when I get like 8 of them out of 12 right and wish I had a bet. What's one of those bets called where it kind of, is it a perm where it kind of adds up all the permutations? Sam says, don't want to say this, but Derby win. Voyou says, see you gents, off to watch the game. I think Sky are closing in, so I will be off soon. But remember, I'll be back at half time and then back at full time as well. So please, if you're like Voyou and you're off to go and watch the coverage, please come back at half time and full time. Quick stat. Greenwood scored against Rayner. Gary McAllister also scored against Rayner. McAllister is 39 years older than Greenwood and Rayner is 37. When did Gary McAllister score against Rayner? Incredible stuff. Simon says Leeds will do it for Big Jack tomorrow and God for Norman Hunter and Trevor Cherry as well. Rico says watched the Derby West Brom game and they literally couldn't do anything against the Baggies lower block. Well, I think it was quite a high block in the end, wasn't it? And they're facing a better defence today. Just can't predict more than one Derby goal. So 2-1. Yeah, I totally agree with Rico. That press. Remember, though, that press against the double pivot, Rooney wasn't there. And obviously, he's, you know, if you press Rooney in the wrong way, he'll just take you to school, won't he, with his first touch and just play it around the corner and pass around you. So maybe that will make some kind of difference. Rest in peace, Jack Charlton. Come on, Rooney and the Rams. Do us a favour. Let's do a few more comments here. Just scrolling. I'm so pleased to have so many. Let's have a look. Owen says, I know this isn't about football, but my F1 video game hasn't come yet. And I pre-ordered it and realised it was yesterday. Sorry, Owen. I hope your F1 video game comes. There we go. Watkins scored against West Brom 3 times. 3 games without a goal. Okay, yeah. Yes, from on the goal line, wasn't it? I do remember. Indeed. I like Rooney today, says Simon. Come on, Wayne. Do it for Jack. I'm sure. Surely they'll do a minute's silence as well. Have they had time to sort out black armbands and things of that nature? You've got to remember, we're not overstating. This is a World Cup winner for England as well. Just one of the greats, Jack Charlton. Laura Royal says, Charlton v Reading prediction, can only see a home win. Luton put the cat amongst the pigeons. I'm not just saying this because you've got Royal in your name, but I think I predicted a silly Reading win out of nowhere. So let's have a look. Hoping for a Charlton win, but I'm going 2-2. Brentford 3-0, says Lee on this one. Thoughts on Huddersfield bringing on 10 million players from the bench and our record signing 1.5 million? I will answer that by saying parachute payments encapsulated. I know those players were bought in the Premier League, but yes, there we go. Oh, it's called a parlay or accumulator. There you go. Let's have a little looky. Come on, Lee Bowyer, help us out. You could pull off a perm, literally and figuratively. Chris, my friend, these are natural curls, of course. These are the kind of bets I make. Low risk, big reward. That's probably the reason why they don't come in. We're now having a look at a lovely still of Rooney and Ben Rama. So a couple of great players on show. Yes, I did go 1-0 Reading, didn't I? Right, we've had loads of predictions in. I can't remember what I did. Thomas Frank has got his tactics board out. Interesting insight this. You can see from Charlton on Tuesday night, literally doing it on the pitch. He looks like one of these nutcase managers who's totally intense, doesn't he? But hey, doing a great job at the moment. Where's this stat coming from? McAllister scored against Rayner, Liverpool v Barca UEFA Cup semi. Unbelievable scenes. Jake says, up the Borough. Neil Warnock, Red and White Army. There we go. Right. Can I implore you all, thank you for the 2 super chats in this. Great stuff. If you can support, please do so, and you can on Patreon. But in the meantime, hit the like button, leave a comment if you're watching on delay, and please come back at half time. Looks like we are just about to go to the coverage, so I am going to head downstairs to go and watch this one, and I'll see you all at half time. It is a Brentford visiting derby, a big game with 2 teams chasing automatic and playoff respectively. Let's see what the championship throws us today. Thank you for watching, and again, rest in peace, Jack Charlton. See you at half time. Over and out.